My name is Angel Wimpenny, and my husband Jay and I are proud owners of the Patio on Main. Thank you very much to Governor Mckee for visiting our restaurant today, and for Andy Knott, our town manager, for joining us, and Dr. Schwager, the president of our town council of East Greenwich, and Steve Lombardi, he is the East Greenwich Chamber's president, and also we'd like to thank Rick Simone and the Rhode Island Hospitality for all of your help through this process, and the Ocean State Coalition. The patio opened as a small dine-in restaurant just a few weeks before COVID-19 dining restrictions were put in place. The state's Take It Outside initiative allowed us to create this beautiful and safe outdoor family-owned restaurant. The program grants have saved our livelihood as well as others. We sincerely appreciate all the support for small businesses like ours during the pandemic. We are now coming into an uncertain fall season. With a change in people's dining habits, many businesses like ours will face difficult decisions. The state has the opportunity and the ability to assist small businesses with these upcoming challenges. We are extremely excited about Governor Mckee's state ARPA fund initiative. Imminent allocation of these funds to small businesses is critical for our continued survival. Thank you. I'd like to hand it over to our town manager, Andy Knott.
Thank you. So excited to have the governor here today. Always welcome on Main Street. We've had some great opportunities here during COVID with Take It Outside initiatives and other supports that have been given to local business. I'd like to thank our council president, Dr. Mark Schwager, as well as Representative Caldwell for also being here. But I think it's always important when we have our governor in town to make sure we have a good showing. One brief comment I'd like to make is East Greenwich, as one of 39 municipalities, has our own ARP program. We're receiving approximately $3.9 million. For us, not as much. We're kind of the lower third within the state, but looking to utilize those funds very strategically on a go-forward basis. Some to support our businesses right here on Main Street with infrastructure, sewer work, rehabilitative work. I'm sure the governor and his staff are familiar with through the state's transportation improvement program that we hope to initiate a complete reconstruction of Main Street in about the next 5 to 7 years. In addition to that, we're upgrading a number of our municipal facilities with indoor HVAC work. One of them, notably, is our town hall. One of the original 5 state houses in Rhode Island was a Kent County courthouse for more than 50 years as well. As well as that, we're looking at other outdoor initiatives dealing with COVID with outdoor shelters for our senior services, as well as working collaboratively with our school department. So the ARP program is going to be significant for East Greenwich as well as every other community in the state of Rhode Island. And it's going to be strategic in helping us move some initiatives forward as the governor works hard to get our economy back online. So thank you so much. Thank you, Governor.
Thank you, Andy. I'm Steve Lombardi. I'm the Executive Director of the East Greenwich Chamber of Commerce, and I want to thank the Wimpennies, Angel and Jay. Very busy on Main Street, East Greenwich. But thanks to everybody for being here. This is a great show of support for the small business community. On behalf of the East Greenwich Chamber of Commerce, I would like to thank Governor Mckee for all his past support for Rhode Island small business and for East Greenwich's small businesses. And we especially appreciate his being here today to address the need for immediate investments in the state's small businesses, child care, and housing. Governor, we really appreciate all your support, and it's very, very appreciated by this entire community. We're glad you're here, and we look forward to hearing from you on this very important matter. So without further ado, Governor Daniel Mckee.
It is always really great to be right here in East Greenwich, and I was in this patio. It was a colder day, and we're trying to get some of the Take It Outside money out when I was Lieutenant Governor, along with some of the grants. And Steve, you were so generous with your time to walk us up with on Main Street and talk to several number of businesses. So I want to thank Angel for having us here today at the patio on Main Street, and I recall hearing how you just opened up, right? And we made sure that the next round of when I got in about $20 million or so got up to small businesses. We didn't we made sure that anybody who opened up during the pandemic also was eligible for those funds. So it's great to be here. You know, as a small business owner myself, I understand how challenging the last 18 months have been. And having read this roller coaster for many years, of going back to the banking crisis in the 90s, to the internet bubble after 9/11, to the real estate crisis in 2008, I've gone through those ups and downs, and that's why I take this issue very personal right now, because I know the impact that the economy has on a business owner and the anxiety that develops as a result of that. I also know what the importance that it has for the people who work in the businesses and how that impacts them personally as well. And in addition to that, the culture and the community that is developed when people come and frequent our small businesses. Right here, nothing like right here on Main Street, right here now. So I want to just thank Representative Caldwell as well for being here, Town Manager Andy Nada, continuous support as a municipal leader. We're not standing here, by the way, without the leadership of our municipal leaders. Today, Rhode Island, which was when I was appointed as governor, we had the lowest vaccination rates in the country. Today, I think we're like fourth highest in the country, which is an incredible feat, but it didn't happen without municipal leadership and our first responders in all the communities. Not only that, but we also take advantage of the fact that we had some of the highest death rates, if not the highest death rates, because of COVID, as well as the highest infection rates in the country when I became governor. Today, we have certainly some of the lowest hospitalization rates in the country. And that allows us to talk about economics and the importance of the economy. So I want to first recognize that we got Commerce Secretary Pryor championing the issues for small business and larger businesses. Thomas Avila, who's Associate Director of our Rhode Island Office for Diversity and Equity and Opportunity, is here with us today, talking about the focus on not only on all our businesses, but also our minority and women's-owned businesses as well. Of course, Steve Lombardi, as mentioned, Rick Simone, who's been just a great advocate for the Ocean State Coalition. Rick, so thank you for doing that. And you can't talk about Dale Fentry. I don't know about giving her a microphone. She's got so much to say, but I like the fact that she's got a lot of positive things to say, but we're not here, especially in the restaurant and hospitality industry, without you, Dale, and your work. So thank you so much. Small business have always been important to Rhode Island's economy, and they will be essential to our economic recovery. As I said, with one of the highest vaccination rates in the nation, Rhode Island is already emerging from the global pandemic with strength. As of this morning, according to NPR's vaccine tracker, Rhode Island is 4th in the nation when it comes to vaccinations. Rhode Island has also ranked among the top 10 states nationally that led Northeast Moody's Back to Normal Index, Economic Recovery Index. As of last week, Rhode Island ranked number 5 in the country on an economic recovery and number 1 in the Northeast. While Rhode Island is leading in our economic reopening, we cannot afford to take our foot off the pedal at this moment in time and allow other states who are competitive with us to catch up. We must maintain this momentum. Rhode Island is the only state in the Northeast that has not spent $1 of our American Rescue Plan state fiscal recovery funds. The $1.1 billion received from the Biden administration have not been spent. It's time to spend some of these dollars. If we invest soon, if we invest wisely, we can continue to lead rather than follow. And that's why last week I outlined a framework of examples in areas where I would spend at least 10% of these federal dollars to make immediate investments into Rhode Island's economic comeback. The areas were small business, housing, and childcare. I think it's no surprise to anyone to find that my focus has been on small businesses. That should be no surprise. There are other investments that we need to make as well in housing and in childcare. That's why one of my first acts as governor was to direct our team of commerce to launch a simple, accessible $20 million grant program for small businesses. The latest data from the SBA shows that there are thousands of small businesses located in Rhode Island employing over 229,000 people. These are restaurants, travel agencies, hair salons, clothing shops, dry cleaners, and bookstores. These are the ways our friends and neighbors support their families and help drive our economy. I spent this morning down at Galilee at Point Judith touring the fishery industry, and those are multiple levels of small businesses that rely on our restaurants to make sure that they buy their products. Saw a number of tunas coming off the ship this morning. It was a great experience. But that first-hand experience, having your feet on the ground, that's how you know what's going on. And that's why we're here today. Small business owners are also innovative and they're very resourceful. Just think about it. When COVID-19 pandemic hit and the state asked them to close their doors to keep us safe to indoor dining and shopping, they forged ahead and adapted heroically, creating new methods and using new technologies to deliver their goods and services to their customers. Despite their creativity and ingenuity, small businesses across Rhode Island, including right here in East Greenwich, have been hit hard by the COVID-19 pandemic. While both federal and state government have provided a range of small businesses supports, there are clear gaps, especially as we deal with variants and the viruses, those unknowns. In March, there was many unknowns. We've addressed many of those through our vaccination rates and through curbing the infection rates, but we don't know what's around the corner. But we do know that we need to invest in our small businesses. They did everything that we asked them to do to keep us safe during this pandemic. And we need to do everything we can to continue this economic recovery so that they not only survive, but they thrive as we come out of the pandemic. They closed down. They took things outside. They opened with the capacity restrictions and masks, but they still need help. And it is our duty as their elected leaders to step up for them right now. It is time. Let me be very direct. I believe our small businesses cannot wait for more assistance. That's why in the coming weeks, I'll be submitting to the General Assembly a supplemental budget amendment which includes Rhode Island Rebound. Rhode Island Rebounds will be the name of our program. It'll be a suite of recovery support for small businesses and hard-hit industries to sustain our economic comeback. In addition to that, in the next year's budget, I'll be putting forward a small business-friendly article with 10 or more very specific items that are directed to help our small businesses. With strong supports, we can not only boost our most impacted business and sectors, but we can also ensure that they have the expertise, the networks, and resources to propel our economy going forward. Now let me tell you a little bit more about what Rhode Island Rebounds will include. We'll offer a broad range of services for affected small businesses and industries. Assistance would include public health adaptation support, similar to the popular Take It Outside program. Financial assistance to support ventilation systems and upgrades. Wraparound business supports e-commerce and other tech upgrades. I had my hair cut at a small business owner's place this weekend, and she was telling me how now online she has been able to try to figure out how to adapt and actually take reservations to have a haircut. Businesses around the state of Rhode Island are going to have to kind of make their move to become virtually friendly for their customer base. We need to invest in them now. Main Street will include Main Street storefront, facade, and streetscape improvements, especially in our most impacted retail and commercial stretches. We need to increase their appeal and their accessibility. It will include workforce recruitment and training initiatives. We know right now that there is a need for our workers in all our small businesses. But we also know, as I mentioned, our daughter Kara is somewhere traveling doing music in Europe right now, reassessing what she's going to do in her professional career. This is happening all over the United States. It's no different here in Rhode Island. We need to zero in with workforce recruitment and training initiatives now, today. Financial assistance and grants, especially for hardest hit industries, also should be included. Certain industries have been slammed by the pandemic, including travel and tourism, event-related businesses, and we need to offer them some relief now. Like many parts of the U.S., the minority share of the population greatly exceeds the share of businesses owned by minorities. Nationally, African Americans represent 12.7% of the population, but only 4.3% of the business owners. This is the time to invest in all our businesses. And those who are at most risk, we should be even investing more than we have in the past. Today, Tomas Avila will fill in some of the work that we're doing in that area, which is important work. In all 39 cities and towns, access to capital is a leading barrier to minority-owned businesses, securing more government procurement opportunities. We know that's true. The New American Business Plan that was written, and we have it here, points out the very facts. We need to deal with the facts. Those are the facts. So let's invest where we need to invest. It is on us as state government to assist our minority-owned businesses to be able to compete for procurement opportunities in the state, especially at this challenging moment in time. We only get stronger as we build all the sectors of the small business community in all 39 cities and towns. That's why I'm committed to positioning the MBEs and the WBEs for success. We also need to invest in long-term and utilize these crucial federal dollars to propel Rhode Island into the next decade with strength. I believe the balance, that is the majority of these funds, should be used for long-term investments and if necessary to address state financial challenges. The two types of investors, near-term and long-term, they can complement each other. And when we do things right, we'll make it happen in a way that will help improve our economy in this state. I'm tired of being the first in and last out of these economic downturns. I'm excited for the future of Rhode Island, but conquering the challenges and capitalizing on the opportunities ahead will take us all working together. We cannot wait till next year. I want to thank you for the opportunity to be here with you to share these ideas this afternoon. I'm looking forward to working with each and every one that's here, including my General Assembly, the General Assembly members. We're looking to ensure a more resilient and equitable and prosperous state for all of us to share. And with that, I would like to just hand it off to Rick Simone to say a few words from the Ocean State Coalition. Rick, please come on up.
So first I have to acknowledge that the governor has been a tremendous partner. He really gets it. He understands the small businesses. He spends a tremendous amount of time, him and his team, networking and being out with us and hearing what our concerns are. And that, to Jay and Angel, this place is absolutely beautiful. I remember being out here right when you first opened, so thank you for having us. From a statewide perspective, some of the people behind me were tremendous, and we could not have gotten through the last 18 months without them, particularly Matt Chief, Stephen Pryor, Dale Venturini, and David Dadakian, who's over here from Eat Drink RI. These are all folks that worked tirelessly over the last 18 months to hopefully get us out of this crisis over the next 6 months to a year. So the governor's framework that he mentions, this is something that is vital to us. We've been talking about this for months. And combining education with events, with the frame of housing, and with us in the hospitality and tourism industry, all melds well together because there is a housing crisis right now, there is education needs right now, and all of those things meld into us to make the small businesses stronger. I think what's not out there, and it's understood, I get a lot of comments of people, why do you need more grants? I've got this with assembly members that I'm talking to. Why does the business community need extra help? The challenge has been, what's not seen, is the underlying things that the business owners deal with on a daily basis. The supply chain in a number of areas, it's invisible to our customers. The supply chain has stopped in specific areas. A number of items have increased and continue to increase in cost. The labor cost has gone up, and that labor cost has not been passed along this year. Those are things that people really don't understand and see on a daily basis, but the business owners feel. So in some cases, it may look like we're coming out of this and we're busier than ever, but the truth of the matter is, in some cases, most cases, they're just breaking even or are slightly ahead, and that's where the extra support is needed. I can also say that over the next couple of weeks, probably 2 to 4 weeks, the Take It Outside initiative that was created last year was brilliant. It really helped the businesses sustain into the winter months to be more productive, to be more answering to the guests' needs and concerns. A number of us in the next 2 to 4 weeks are going to run out of funds to continue to execute those things. And that's where it's vital that we can get this assistance. The General Assembly, we've expressed to them we really need them to step up now. We can't wait till January for an answer. The framework that's been created will work and will help us get through that time frame. So we're calling on them to listen to the governor and listen to all of us and to please assist us as we get to this point. There's one example I just want to give, and I was talking to the Commerce Secretary about this and the governor last week. On Federal Hill, one of our initiatives that was used was to use a delivery service company, DASAP, that had just formed to deliver everything from Federal Hill at that time for no charge. So anything on the Hill. It could have been something from Walgreens, a gift basket, restaurant, shoes. That initiative cost us $15,000. The $15,000 returned just under $600,000 in investment through the order. Everything trackable, sales taxes, the 7% and 1%. That initiative paid for itself way more times than we could ever anticipate. And it's examples of things like that that can come up again and can be incredibly helpful as we go into this time frame. So that's just what I wanted to bring up. With that, thank you all, and Dale.
Thank you, Governor. And thank you for this beautiful outdoor space, all the flowers. It looks spectacular. I think we all know we need urgent relief. You know, when we work locally at the State House, but also federally, and I spent last week talking to our federal delegation around the country about relief for the Restaurant Revitalization Fund. Unfortunately, the original one that came out, only 446 Rhode Island businesses received grants. There were 1,969 applications, so that relates to only 22% of the applicants for the RRF got money. That left a lot of people without money. It left a lot of people in an unfair competitive advantage. You know, again, most hospitality business, like valet companies, event companies, they didn't qualify for the RRF, and they have long exhausted their relief funds. We're just now starting to see more of an impact with the businesses who did not receive any of this funding. They're struggling to compete with those that did. This is being reflected in the restaurant's ability to bring back staff, pay increased food costs and beverages, and their ability to invest back into the industry in their own company. On the hotel side, the outlook is even more dire. Rhode Island hotels are expected to lose over $100 million in business travel in 2021, a drop of almost 63% compared to pre-COVID 2019. And of course, you know, many of the hotels were not shut down, including our state, so they were shut out of any of the economic relief programs that were offered by state and federal. So we have been talking to Commerce about including the entire hospitality industry with the rest of the small business industry and any relief funds as we go forward. We acknowledge that there's only so much money. We acknowledge that it's going to be difficult to consider for the distribution of funds, but we would be remiss if we did not highlight the oversized importance of the hospitality industry to Rhode Island. In 2019, pre-COVID, we collect hundreds of millions of dollars in state sales tax. We employed 15% of the workforce, with over 86,000 people depending on us to support their families. Rhode Island's hospitality industry is the base of Rhode Island's economy, and unless we successfully rebuild, we can't help the state to also rebuild. I just want to quote something that one of my members called the other day and told me about his frustration on what was going on. And he said, "My days are moving around nickels." He said, "I don't have enough money to do it all, so I have to figure out each day where is that money going to go." And I'm sure you can use that as well. So thank you so much for all of this. We're working very hard with the Governor's Office, with the General Assembly, and more to come. I'm very encouraged what I hear today. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Governor. I think that Dale and Rick expressed it eloquently. You hear that across our state there are restaurants, there are other small businesses that are still struggling, that are trying to find the way to make it through, and we need to provide the dollars to help them get there. So, Governor, thank you for creating this opportunity and for producing this package. it's really essential that we not rest on our laurels, that we not count on our momentum to date economically. It's been good, but we need to keep our foot on the pedal, as you say. It's really important that we keep it going and that we make these investments now. Angel, thank you so much for hosting us. It's so clear that if we take it outside this way, we can succeed. You know, there's a reason we use the expression take it outside. Take it outside means literally bring it outdoors. It also means let's fight COVID by taking it outside. And the truth is that that's one of the reasons we've been so successful, is we have invested early and consistently in outdoor dining and outdoor shopping and beyond. East Greenwich, the leadership of East Greenwich has been magnificent in making that happen throughout the town, and thank you. I want to point out that other states are making these investments, and I want to be specific. Connecticut is distributing more than $40 million to the state's tourism and hospitality sector. Maine is dedicating more than $70 million in economic recovery grants, loans, and loan guarantees for small businesses, etc. Virginia is distributing $250 million for the Rebuild Virginia program, focusing on supporting businesses in hospitality and tourism. Alaska is dedicating $90 million in supports for tourism and beyond. Illinois has $75 million as a part of their program earmarked for back-to-business grants and for reactivating vacant spaces to get outdoor activity going. Wisconsin is allocating $420 million for a program that involves support for small businesses and hotels and the event industry and tourism. You get the idea. We're the only state in our region that has not yet allocated any money from the American Rescue Plan. These dollars were brought to us by the President of the United States and our congressional delegation in order to provide this kind of relief and in order to sustain our momentum. Yes, our momentum has been good. We are one of the strongest states coming out of this economic downturn for once, but let's make sure that we don't fall behind. Let me also speak to how these funds have been used so well. Rick and Dale expressed it. They've been the reason why, by the way. Rick and Dale and their counterparts at other industry organizations, they've brought it to life. Rick, how many months did you extend the outdoor dining season as a result of Take It Outside? 3.5 months more. That's many more patrons and much more revenue. Dale Venturini, what do you call that? The sweaters that you put on folks? What's that program?
BYOB, bring your own blanket.
BYOB, bring your own blanket. There are sweaters, there are blankets through BYOB, through the Hospitality Association, that ingeniously are helping customers stay outside longer. And you know what? It keeps commerce going, and it also keeps us healthier. So, you know, the truth of the matter is there are examples all over our state. We had a program called Business Adaptation where we help businesses pivot and move from one type of doing business to another to adjust to the economy. We had all this kind of work around getting outdoors. We can do so much more of it. We can keep the momentum going, but only if we support Governor McKee's program to enable early investment, not months and months and months from now, starting now. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Governor. And as the Governor mentioned, I am Tomas Avila, Associate Director of the Office's Diversity, Equity, and Opportunity. And the Governor mentioned MBEWB, but he also mentioned Human Resources, which interestingly enough is two of the items that we are addressing in our office. And let me speak in particular, starting with the MBEWB. As we know, historically, this part of business has been very much ignored, and it hasn't taken advantage of many of the opportunities that have been presented to other businesses in general. And I blame no one, but I am here to tell you that under the governor's leadership, he has assigned me a responsibility to make Rhode Island more equitable. And by making Rhode Island more equitable, it means this. It means sharing the pie that's going to be shared with everyone else. And we are also keeping other entities accountable to that equity. So thank you, Governor, for having me here. Nice to see everyone, and look forward to working with all of you. Thank you very much.
We'll take a couple
questions. I know there's a lot of speakers, but we'll do a couple questions.
Governor, you've repeatedly mentioned in the last week that Rhode Island is the only state in the region not to get some of this money out the door. Whose fault is that? Why hasn't that happened?
Well, I don't really look at faults. I just look at what do we got to do. We got to get the money out. I think that we need to make sure that that I keep my promise to make sure I work with the General Assembly, as I have stated publicly all along. I'll be meeting with the Speaker and the Senate President tomorrow to talk about the details of what I believe should go into a budget amendment, and continue to encourage the General Assembly to act quickly on it, and so that we work as partners as we try to use those funds intelligently.
Governor, are they going too slow, or they seem to be waiting for you to submit a proposal? Are you okay with?
Well, if I've been too slow, then I think we're going to speed it up.
Governor, I know we're focused on small businesses right now, but there's an outcry for that money being used for rental assistance. What's the plan on that?
Yeah, so the rental assistance program, the $200 million, we're paying very close attention to that. I think that we're over $25 million that's been distributed. We expect to have about 16 million dropped to help the utilities, in a batch type of allotment. So that'll bring us up about 41 million, and I believe in the queue there's another 25 million that should go out shortly. We want to make sure we retain the entire amount of that 200 million plus the other dollars that come in, and we're working on that right now directly with the White House and the Treasury to make sure that they allow us to get those dollars out as quickly as we can. So, but we have showed significant progress in that area. I'm pleased about that. I think we got more to do, but we're not done yet.
Governor, the Rhode.
Yes, I believe that's tomorrow afternoon. Yes.
Governor, the Rhode Island.
Pat, hold on a second.
Respectfully, this wasn't an issue. You didn't raise this issue until like the day after this had been in the paper. Rhode Island hadn't spent a dime of its allocation for the federal government. And suddenly became a hair on fire issue. Where were we?
Well, you're assuming that there's been no conversations or no effort to actually make this happen. Those efforts were going on very diligently, and multiple meetings were going on with Commerce, with the General Assembly over the last several months. And in the anticipation, because I mean, it's not a secret that it was said that there might have been a General Assembly session in the fall. We don't know whether that's going to happen or not, but we were relying on that as a possibility.
Push that with the leadership tomorrow?
We're going to continue to work.
You said we heard it can't wait until January.
No, it can't. It certainly can't wait till next when the next budget is approved in next June. So we're gonna get this on a fast track as best we can, but we're gonna work with the General Assembly leaders to make it happen.
Governor, the Rhode Island.
What are you getting on the fast track? 10% or the whole thing?
No, I think that our ask has been more than 10% over the period of time. We've had multiple presentations. We think that if the General Assembly wants to add some immediate dollars to the numbers that we're talking about, the 10%, we encourage them to do that. We certainly have a deck on what that looks like. We've already filed the information we need to file with the Treasury at the end of August related to these funds. 60 days later, we need to give them another presentation, and we're going to put a lot more detail in at that point in time. So this is something that we've been working on for several months, and we're just taking it to a new level at this point in time.
Governor, the Rhode Island Department of Health has instituted a snitch line where folks can be given the opportunity to rat out neighbors, doctors, co-workers, friends, family. Has the state of Rhode Island really gotten to the point where we need to turn on each other in order to continue to support an already successful implementation of the vaccine?
Yeah, so I'm not aware of a snitch line, but but I would say that no, we're at 87% of our adult population that has one shot in the arm right now. We're going to get 90%. I think when I mentioned 90% back in May or late April, people were rolling their eyes. We will reach that number, and we're now into the high school vaccinations. We're getting to the 5 to 11-year-olds as well. No, we need to work together as a state. And we've done that. So I congratulate the people in the state of Rhode Island. I would just let's tell our friends, we all have friends that are not vaccinated. But let's tell our friends to get vaccinated and make sure that the Rhode Island holds on to this economic position it's in. And also the the fact that, I just came from the airport, from Rhode Island, International TF Green Airport. Their ridership is up. We have universities in the state of Rhode Island that have their students vaccinated at levels where we see nowhere else in the country because of their leadership. Rhode Island is in a very sweet spot right now. We want to make sure we keep on going. There's no reason to be outing anybody. We need to just invite people to cooperate with us.
So follow up.
Your reaction to the fact that I understand Coventry High School has closed because of an uptick in COVID cases in the last few days, and that they intend to close and do learning from home for several days this week. So we weren't going to do that.
Yes, I'm not aware of that this morning, if that happened today. But I do know that we need, and I've already started to work on with actually a community in the southern part of the state that would like to do a pilot, which is called Test and Stay. That's in place in Massachusetts right now, and that would allow us to do a testing, and then if they're not, and if the students are not positive, they stay. A number of our students that are going home are not infected, but because of the quarantine and protocols that are in place, some of the school districts are, which they have the right to do based on the current protocols, are being very cautious about it. We're the lowest hospitalization rates in the country. We have the second lowest infection rate in the country last week. So we're headed in the right direction here. I'll look into that there, but I think a test and stay strategy right now in the state of Rhode Island, which is actually implemented in Massachusetts right now to some degree, would help alleviate a lot of that pressure.
Thank you, Governor. Back to money, one more. Last one, then we got to go. What's the timeline on this money being spent? And if it all doesn't get spent, where does it go? Does it go back to the federal government?
Which one are we talking? The rent relief program or
the entire fund?
We have timelines on every allocation of money. The CARE Acts need to be spent in full by the end of this calendar year. Right now, the rent money, I think it continues till the end of September of next year. And the relief funds that we're talking about right now, that's got like a 3-year time frame to spend.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.